What's up, everybody? We're back here for another episode of the Red Glare Podcast. I'm your host, Alec Miller, joined as always by my man, Paul. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Happy to be back. We got a lot to unpack today. A lot of drama surrounding sports in general, but hey, that's why we love it. And if you guys are joining, drop those questions.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a crazy weekend. Crazy New Year, and we've been gone for the past 2 weeks or past week, so we have a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of Rockets games, and most importantly to cover today. So ready to get into it. Don't forget, you can catch me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423, and Paul, go ahead and let them know where you can find you.
Add Podcast Paul on Twitter, man. Catch us both. Absolutely. Let's talk some Rockets, some sports.
Absolutely, man. Well, it's like I said, it's been a crazy week, crazy 2 weeks around the sports land. There's a lot of places we could start, but before we get started on our first big topic, I want to go ahead and go over the Rockets. Wins and losses, mostly losses, but we have a few wins sprinkled in here and there. So let me pull up the Houston Rockets schedule, and we can talk some Rockets and what we've been seeing lately.
Yeah.
Because it's been hasn't been all bad, right? Just right now, we are up by 1 on the 76ers at halftime. Like that's pretty good. We're a very fun team to watch. I feel like we always talk about we're always a fun team to watch. But
actually, I think it has been all losses since our last podcast.
Has it? Oh,
yeah.
Even worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had a really tough schedule though too recently. Let me see where we're at. December. All right, last podcast we had, they were about to play the Pacers, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of a big loss. That was kind of like not a bad loss. We only lost, we lost by 12 points, but it didn't always seem far away. And just to get the numbers, we have Wood led in points with 22 points, and he also led in rebounds, and Eric Gordon in assists. Then we had a kind of a blowout loss against the Hornets in a game where I'm sorry, I don't even know who this guy is, man. Queen, I haven't even seen him play. That's how little I've been watching lately. Hold on. Yeah, Queen had 17 points. Behind him was Armani Brooks and Daniel Tice. This is a game where KPJ still hadn't returned yet, and neither did Jalen Green. So there's that. Give me 1 second.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. That was that Lakers game. I could kick off a little bit on the Lakers game because I watched that one. Yeah, man, the Lakers game was actually pretty competitive. It was just, LeBron took over is really what happened in that Lakers game. And, it was kind of a down the stretch. It was a duel with him and Porter Jr. And Porter Jr. made some nice plays, but, ultimately he couldn't stick with LeBron defensively. And, he just made him pay for it. So I think also some of the shot selection was a bit spotty in that game.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, like, you could tell the Lakers were a veteran team against us that night. They did what they were supposed to do, and not really much more, So
yeah.
I think it was a good game. It was competitive, but it's just too many years of experience on the other roster.
Yeah, and that game, like you said, was a lot closer than the score made it seem like, because I believe there was a point taken away. There was a point taken away on something where we would have been up. Oh, it was a goaltending call that should have should have been called goaltending and wasn't called. So I think it was a challenge. Sorry, and it was overturned, and that would have made it a 1 point. We would have been up by 1 if that goaltending call would have gotten overturned. So it's insane how close that game was. But like you said, I mean, the story basically for the Lakers all year has been when they win is the LeBron took over, because that's basically what he did against a very, very young team. But this is refreshing to see when you see that Jalen Green leading in points, man. Like it feels good to see that again, right? Finally having him back.
Bro, also the atmosphere too, like it was 100%. I don't know if everyone was there, but it says attendance was 18,104. So that's really good. That was a lot of
Mhm.
people in the seats. Of course that happens with the Lakers and you got all these Hall of Famers on that roster, but at the end of the day, it's still good to have butts and seats in the Toyota Center. And I think
Mhm.
those young guys really played up to it, for what it was. So nothing to hold your head on. You competed again. The Lakers have kind of been spotty this year, but hey, man, you brought it to them, and that's all you can really want out of a young squad at home. And
Mhm.
dude, if they play like this, every night, I mean, that's why so many people are keeping up with them. Like
Yeah.
a lot of Rockets fans are really in tune with this season, So I think it's good, man. I think this game symbolizes a lot of our season, but yeah,
Yeah.
overall happy.
Yeah, there's a very distinct difference between last year and this year. I think for fans, I think a lot of fans are realizing last year. I mean, we were bad, but we didn't. There wasn't anything to really look forward to. Like I kind of had a feeling we were going to be bad, but it just felt like there was nothing to look forward to. There was no like bright spots on the team, so you just kind of were like, kind of just really checking in on the box score. You weren't even really watching games. Whereas like now, I get excited to watch these Rockets play. Jalen Green, KPJ, Christian Wood. And we're gonna get all into that later. But even Alperen Şengün, who has been getting a lot of love lately. David Nwaba, Jay Tate. Like this is a very fun team to watch. And I haven't met a fan who follows the Rockets that is like saying like this season is a waste, it's a loss. Like this is a failed season,
Right.
because I don't think any Rockets fan who's actually paying attention feels like that. They feel like we're showing every game that we're showing and we're fighting back. It's a good lesson to learn for all these kids, and I mean I love it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, me too, man. I think some fans are impatient, but I think you have to manage your expectations a bit. I
Mhm.
thought the ceiling of this team would be a play-in game, and I don't think they're going to be that after all. But still, like my point is, I've lowered my expectations, and it's made the season a lot more enjoyable to watch. So, if you kind of been frustrated by, maybe wanting to blame Silas, blame a player, whatever, just rethink that. Just enjoy the growth. Like Kobe would
Yeah.
say, the journey is more important than the destination, right? So, that's what this season means to me.
Yeah, like I didn't have high hopes for this team either. I was honestly thinking like I was really worried that even though I had a lot of faith in these guys that somehow it wasn't going to work, I was just kind of like setting
Yeah,
myself up to be kind of a little bit disappointed. So I expect a little bit of disappointment. But when we hit that win streak, dude, like that was the best. Like to me, like that immediately made the season like all the losses worth it,
same.
because just the fact that they were able to go on that big of a win streak and without Jalen Green, and then I think it was right before KPJ went out, so uh, they did it without their top player, and then KPJ did miss some games, so
Yeah,
they were able to pull together, and this season has just been like that to me that was like the best thing that could have possibly happened. What happens after that is just like icing on the cake. It's just
yeah,
an added bonus, because to me I'm already so like happy about this season. I really am. Especially when you look at our schedule. It's like our last three home games, even though they've been home games, I mean the Lakers, the Heat, and the Nuggets all in a row here at home, and they balled out, dude. Like we've gotten to triple digits for every single game, and each of these games, like when I think about them and I check out clips and stuff, it never really seemed like we were behind, or like we were like far behind. I think the biggest one was the Nuggets game. That one kind of got out of hand, but
yeah.
even as
Or
I'm
the
looking at the
Cavs.
score,
That Cavs one for me, it was weird where we
yeah,
lost by like 30. But yeah, I know your point exactly.
like in a lot of games that we've been playing, we've been kind of competing. Like Jalen Green just put 29 on the Nuggets, which is, even though we lost that game by 13, the best thing that you can see is your star rookie who's got the highest ceiling, uh,
Hmm.
getting leading in points, right, and doing good, and especially with the drama that went on with the team in that Nuggets game. For them to be able to come back and kind of keep it a little closer than it was the rest of the game. because in the beginning of the game it was kind of rough. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Should we unpack that? What happened in the Nuggets game?
Yeah, man. Let's go. Go. I'll let you go ahead and give your thoughts on it, and I'm gonna see if I can like pull it up maybe.
Okay. So I guess what I could do is like just give an overview. So if anyone's watching and isn't exactly caught up, essentially during this game, at halftime, from what we know is Coach Lucas, an assistant coach for us, essentially called out the players, and two players took exception to that, and that was Christian Wood and Porter Jr. So essentially, the actions that both of them took is Christian Wood kind of refused to go back into the game, and Porter Jr., from what we know, is he just kind of threw a tantrum. He got mad, threw things, and also didn't come back at all, right? So yeah, that's essentially what happened, and now the Rockets are disciplining both of them. I think a suspension's been issued, but I'm not exactly sure how long. But the point is, both of these players are kind of in limbo with the franchise. So, what do you think, man? Like, what do you think we should? Why don't we start like one player at a time? Like, what do you think about like maybe Christian Wood? We could start there.
Yeah, man. So this kind of makes me think that Christian Wood is definitely out of here soon. Even if that wasn't, even if they were already planning that, I think that this is going to probably speed up that process. I can't pull it. I can't see it on my phone, but I know David sent us something on Instagram. What was it?
Oh, right. David, I think sent us something. Do you mean like from when they originally got ejected, or not ejected, but an argument?
Yeah, or he sent us something about a what was it?
Potential trade.
Yeah, what is that? I haven't seen that. But he was sending us, I guess, a clip of that guy. Was it Jalen Smith?
It was a potential trade for Christian Wood. A rumor that he heard, like a first rounder and that player for the Suns, right?
Yeah, the rookie Jalen Smith. And you mentioned that it's kind of hard to say no to that. If that is the trade, I would definitely take that. I've seen Jalen Smith play a few times. He's a really good player. He's young. It would just be we would lose kind of a veteran presence that we are already trying to get rid of with other veterans. And if we were trading somebody first, I didn't want it to be Christian Wood, but if it is Jalen Smith in a first rounder, I think that's a good move for both teams, for the Suns and for us, which would be it'd be easier to swallow. But this whole thing happening really is upsetting, because maybe not as much with Christian Wood, but with KPJ.
Definitely.
I just I felt like we were going somewhere and like we really hit on the trade. Or not the trade, but like we really hit on him and finally took a chance on him, and he was playing out the way he was supposed to. So seeing this, it just takes me back to like when he was in Cleveland, and that's what I've been seeing all over the places. This is why he was cut from Cleveland, and we asked.
Yeah.
We remember we were thinking like that's crazy that we're able to get KPJ for basically
nothing.
We were able to sign him for nothing, and a part of me was thinking like, I really hope this doesn't bite us. Like, I hope that he has like changed, or that maybe it was the Cavs, and now it's kind of showing like maybe there was like some there was something to it, and maybe that I was just hoping we didn't see, but it seems like we finally got it.
Yeah, man. As far as Porter Jr., I kind of feel the same, man. And it's like now we're at the point where maybe that is what he was worth, right? So. That's kind of the bummer about all this, like the fact that it came full circle and it's like the same incident. If you try and trade him, any team out there is going to offer you something similar at the most. You know what I mean? So that, to me, that's the bummer. Like, it'd be different if he was playing hot, everything was good, we probably could get a little bit more. But since it's like detrimental conduct to the team, I mean, it's really going to have to be the right fit now. Yeah, like I'm pretty disappointed by that. So it's the second time it's happened, and I think Coach Lucas was one of the ones like early on working with him too. So for him to snap on Coach Lucas and just kind of quit on the team, I mean, it's kind of crazy because Antonio Brown did it too, and we can get into that later. But yeah, man, like it's just surprising, bro. Because literally, when I was watching that Lakers game, like LeBron went up to him at the end of the game and was kind of like showing him some love, telling him things in his ear, kind of giving him some tips. And I think players and the Rockets, respect Porter Jr. and like everybody likes him and they want him to succeed. But at the end of the day, like if he doesn't want that for himself, then what can you really do, right? So I think that's the challenge with him, man. And for Seawood, bro, like I feel like I wanted it to work with Seawood more than most people, but yeah, bro, it's disappointing. He's a veteran, like he needs to be a little bit more professional than that, and I think that piece is a little bit easier to move, because like someone like the Lakers could want him, the Suns could want him, like exactly like David said. So
there's a lot,
right? There's a lot. So I just hope like with him. Or you can move them both. Who knows? Like maybe they don't have issues with each other, right? And they can both be moved as a trade. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping it's a blessing in disguise. Is all I could say. I hope this negative turns into a positive for the Rockets, and they get two guys who want to be here. That's the best case scenario for me.
That would be like the ideal scenario if we were able to trade both Christian Wood and KPJ in the same package. Because I do think that both guys have really added to their value this season. They've made it so like we're saying possible first rounder for Christian Wood, and I mean we got him from the Pistons, and he hated it over there so badly that he chose to come here, and which is refreshing because we don't get a lot of free agents that choose to come to Houston sometimes.
Right.
So that was refreshing. It was nice, but. To be able to get, trade that contract because it is like kind of a hefty contract. It's not anything crazy, but it is a little bigger from what I think he was being offered before by other teams. That's probably why he chose here. So to be able to trade that contract that could eventually become a problem in terms of cap wise, but to be able to include KPJ, who I think is. Like if he wouldn't have gotten injured and this whole thing wouldn't have happened, I could have seen him up there for like most improved player of the year, maybe possibly even a most improved player. Like I feel like he was making those kind of strides in his game. So if someone is willing to take, or handle someone like a Monty Williams, I think could handle putting him under Chris Paul's wing would be fantastic. He would need someone like that to take care of him. I don't see why we couldn't include him in there. Hopefully, we can add a little extra onto that value.
Right.
But it's to me the one that sucks is KPJ because I felt like I could have seen Jalen Green and KPJ like growing together, being one of those like tandems one of those duos that just like ball out with Alper and Şengün. Şengün makes the Christian Wood trade possibility a little bit easier to swallow because I think Alper and Şengün, for all the people who have been wanting him to get more minutes, that's probably coming very soon, or just to be starting. That's probably going to be starting. That's going to be happening pretty soon. So
he might be the starter from now on.
It's very possible. And if they say that he's the starter for the next game, I'm going to be like, okay, I think Christian Wood's been traded. Because that's a lot of money to have coming off the bench. But the KPJ one I feel like sets us back a little bit. I think it does. It makes a point guard in the trade a kind of a higher need because I think Jalen Green is better on the wing. I mean at the two guard position personally, but I know he could play point guard, but I would prefer him to be at shooting guard. So a point guard is definitely on the table for next season in the draft.
Yeah, and that's a good point because either you try and get a point guard out of this or you wait to try and draft one, right? And even if you do get a point guard out of this, is that a franchise piece or is that kind of a temporary, so if it's going to be a temporary or somebody who's not going to last, like maybe you could consider Jalen Green as like a point guard and just tell him, dude, like green light, do whatever the fuck you want. Don't even worry about this season. Yeah. Maybe, but I mean, I think like you said though, I would kind of see it more as whatever we do, we probably get a temporary piece, and then in the draft, we'll probably pursue our guy. Or you could always trade in the draft if there's a guy you really want next to Jalen Green. You can always move some pieces, assuming you get assets back.
Yeah.
For trading Wood and KPJ.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and see a mock draft just to see if there's any point guards. So in the first part of the draft, it looks like the top 4 picks are so you have Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, both power forwards. Jabari Smith, also a power forward. And the Rockets at 4, first point guard, shooting guard is Jaden Ivey from Purdue, who I haven't seen play. And you also have Jaden Hardy, who is another G League Ignite, who's a shooting guard. Then you have from Duke, Trevor Keels. So those are guys that are going to be up there. I've seen Jaden Hardy be thrown around about what we're going to pick because, I as you know, it is the draft lottery. So it's kind of a killer for these mock drafts sometimes.
Exactly.
But I mean, Jaden Ivey, Purdue is one of the top teams in the country, and I haven't seen a lot of Purdue games, but this is definitely gonna make me want to check out a Purdue game. The sad part is I normally don't pay attention to college basketball because there's too much basketball and football going on. So around March Madness, there's no football, so I usually just pay attention to March Madness. But I'm going to check out a Purdue game or two to see what's up with this Jaden Ivey guy.
Yeah, man. I think as long as we, again, if we could land like top 3, that'd be great again. Or number 2, that'd be freaking awesome.
Have your pick of the litter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because there's some talent there, man. So
yeah, I mean, Chet Holmgren is nice. If you can get Chet Holmgren, that'd be ideal. Have a power forward and Alperen Sengun, Chet Holmgren and Alperen Sengun together.
Bro, and listen, like, there's a good chance we could end up one of the worst teams again, like, if not the worst. Like, assuming we trade Wood and Porter Jr., like, you're definitely not going to play John Wall at that point.
Yeah, no, so he's done for sure.
Yeah, so you're basically looking at a season with Jalen Green, Nwaba, Garrison. Yeah, man, like, you're looking at a pretty depleted roster, assuming you trade for assets and not, like, other pieces. Yeah. So could happen, man. Could happen the top 3 pick again.
Yeah, and I personally would want them if they're going to trade these guys. Just pick up some assets. I mean, to me, Rafael Stone's already shown that he knows what he's doing when it comes to the draft. So and Steven Silas as well. So I would love to see them, end up with at least another first rounder, so we can have 2 firsts in this draft. Yeah. Obviously, we're not going to get one of the top picks, but if Rafael Stone can do what he did, if you look at Josh Christopher, a late round pick, the dude is balling, man. Like, he's having a great season, a great rookie season. For where everyone thought he was going to be. Usman Garuba's over there in the G League, honing up his skills. So I think that as long as we can get another pick in the draft, I'd be happy with trading KPJ and Wood. It really sucks because I feel like this is being rushed because of the fact that of what's happening. But a part of me is thinking I'm hoping that maybe this is just like a one-time thing with KPJ and you can hold off on trading him. But I don't see why keeping Christian Wood around, if he's not happy, would benefit us or him. Mm-hmm. Maybe see like some destinations, throw out some feelers, and get him to a winner, because I think he could be a key piece on a winning team.
Yeah, both of them, dude. Like, Christian Wood for sure could kind of like put someone over the top. Mm-hmm. A contender, right? Like, imagine like a C Wood on like a Brooklyn or LA doesn't exactly need him because they have Anthony Davis, but like
the Clippers.
The Clippers, right? Like someone like that is like it definitely takes them to more of like a contender status.
Yeah, I think a Dallas maybe. That
would be pretty nice, actually.
Christian Wood and Luka together.
I mean, that's kind of what they need. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, because like Porzingis is. I mean, Porzingis is still good, but he's just so like inconsistent, I guess.
Yeah. So the thing about Porzingis is I think he's just he can't handle the inside game. He doesn't like bully ball.
Yeah.
Whereas Christian Wood can get in there and bang with people, man. Like I've seen a couple of times where he'll miss something and just go right back up there and get his own rebound, put it back up. Like, dude's tough. We've seen him go toe to toe with Embiid and look pretty decent.
And dude, like, keep in mind Christian Wood was brought to mesh with Harden, right? So like Luka plays just like how Harden played.
Mm-hmm.
And also I think Christian Wood would do better with somebody with a high basketball IQ. You know what I mean? Like as a guard, right? I think that's kind of where he would like flourish the most. So that's pretty nice, man. And I won't rule it out completely either because maybe you rule it out because you play them often every year, but at the same time, like, we both know, like, the division doesn't exactly matter in basketball. And number two, Rafael Stone's relationship with the Mavericks is going to be completely different than Daryl Morey's tenure, right? So, like, when Daryl Morey was here, he never would trade anybody to the Mavericks or want to deal with Mark Cuban because they had some sort of rivalry or whatever. But you don't exactly have to worry about that with Rafael Stone. So the Mavericks could be a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I think that could take. The reason why I'm going to kind of move away from the Suns is I think that there's already a lot of contracts there.
Yeah.
And, they just gave CP3 that deal. They still need to pay. They haven't even paid DeAndre Ayton, or maybe that's what they're planning to do is have Christian Wood replace DeAndre Ayton. But I think, I love Christian Wood, but that is kind of a step down, I think. I think DeAndre Ayton has kind of earned that money. So I don't really want to see him lose any money, but other places, there's some good places that Christian Wood could definitely land. Looking at the game right now, the 76ers have pulled away from the Rockets. It is 87-75 with 5:18 left to go in the third. Garrison Matthews is leading all scorers with 22 points. But we have unfortunately, the guys that are replacing Daniel Tice, he only has 2 points. You have Jalen Green only has 5. I don't know. I guess I haven't been paying attention, but Şengün is out, so that's probably not helping either. The thing about Şengün, man, is I think Şengün shines against. I think he shines against high profile teams. I think he gets he likes that competition when he finally plays someone that's really good, like you saw it with Giannis. We've seen it with what's his name? I think we saw it the first time with Embiid. So I think, we haven't seen it with Embiid. I think that he would have had a good game against Embiid, but he must be dealing with an injury that I haven't seen.
Man. I mean, I think Jalen Green is probably affected by everyone's out, bro. C Wood's out. I think Garuba had COVID protocol.
Yeah.
If Şengün's not playing, I mean. And he basically doesn't have a point guard out there. You know what I'm saying? It's good though, man. He's getting his first taste of him against the world, and he's struggling. But bro, it might be more of this coming in the next couple games for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alperen Şengün has a right ankle sprain. But I'm trying to see. Yeah, he got the COVID-19 thing. I'm trying to see what else we have.
Let me throw something out there for you.
Go ahead.
Because I haven't really watched them this year, but I wonder if De'Aaron Fox is a possibility for a trade.
Ooh.
A little D Fox and Jalen.
Yeah, that'd be nice, man. I like De'Aaron Fox a lot.
And he's from Tomball, I think. So.
Yeah, we love that Texas connection. Damn, man, I would like that. But my question, I don't think we could get a first rounder for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it would be like a Christian Wood trade, we might have to add something in there because I know they really like him. But they also have Davion Mitchell, who really kind of could speed up the process of them moving on from De'Aaron Fox. But
yeah,
I like it, man. I would have to see the package, the whole offer. But just off the top of my head, C Wood for
cool.
De'Aaron Fox, I'd like that a lot.
Yeah.
That would be really good. I'm trying to see what else we got. This was Eric Gordon's game back. He missed Saturday's game, so he's back. And at the moment, I think I went away from it, but he is not playing too bad. He has a few points, 91-81 now, guys. We're kind of helping out there. Eric Gordon has 7 points 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So not, I mean, he has more than Jalen Green. But
Okay.
yeah, that's really about it that we have with the Rockets. I mean, upcoming games, we have hold on. Super computer. Well, so we have the Wizards on Wednesday. We have the Mavs on Friday. And then we have the Timberwolves on Sunday and 76ers on Monday. So that's the rematch that got that's the game that got canceled, I believe, for COVID.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a back-to-back. We have these 2 games in a row. We have these 2 games, Wizards on Wednesday and Mavericks on Friday. No back-to-back, but then Sunday, Monday, Timberwolves, 76ers. Not a great not the back-to-back you would like because both teams are really physical. But hopefully by then Şengün could be back and Christian Wood will be back in KPJ. So hopefully by then we'll be talking about something some good going on with the Rockets.
Yeah, man. And my question will be, how long does it take to trade? Someone's getting traded, right? So it's gonna likely be both, but for sure one or the other. How long will that take? We got about like a month and a half to the trade deadline. So the good thing for the Rockets is you could sit these guys if you needed for a little bit of time, even if it's like a couple weeks before you trade them, because there's really no rush. You're almost at the trade deadline. So yeah, man, that's kind of what I'll be looking forward to in the next couple weeks, getting that notification from Woj to see where these guys are shipped off to, man. But
yeah. Hopefully we have an idea next week. But the Rockets haven't been the only people going crazy in the sports world. We had something I've never seen before in my life. I have never seen. So I don't know if you remember. I think it was Vontae Davis a few years ago or last year. Right. Yeah, when he retired at halftime. I guess the Colts were losing. Was it the Colts? No, I think it was with the Dolphins. They were losing so bad. He just said, "I'm going to call it a day. I'm done," and left. And he retired. But he had the decency to do it in the locker room. This guy we're going to talk about now, I feel like has been handled with kid gloves all day long, and I kind of don't want to handle him with kid gloves today. But that is Antonio Brown for the Buccaneers. Had a meltdown mid-game against the Jets. Took off his pads, was throwing them around on the sideline. Took off his shirt, his undershirt. Threw that to the crowd. Was doing jumping jacks in the end zone. Was basically just doing everything he could do to say, "Everybody, look at me." And after the game, Bruce Arians said that he's no longer a Buck, which I don't think is very surprising. What were your thoughts, man, when you saw this happening? Like, were you watching live, or did you get the thing going on your phone?
I wasn't watching live. I just saw it on my Twitter timeline, and for some reason, I thought it was fake, bro. I don't even know how it could possibly be fake. But when I saw somebody this is happening, I just didn't believe it, bro. I thought I saw a clip of him maybe during a timeout, a clip during a commercial break or halftime or something. I was like, there's no way he's just quitting during the game. Yeah. And then as I saw more and more replays, like you said, he took off all his clothes, threw them, and just got his way out of there. So, bro, I was shocked, man. I think some people have told me maybe he has some CTE issues. I won't rule that out, but I'm not gonna get into that. But my broader point is what's challenging about this is more about Brady kind of sticking his neck out for him. Yeah. They were successful last year, and then for it to hit an ending when the season's almost over, bro, it's tough, man, because they definitely need good receivers in the playoffs. And I think the second more psychological point that I want to make is I think I don't want to sound like a Brady fanboy, but it really makes me respect him more, dude, because Brady has won with so many different pieces over the years, and he's adjusted, and he still comes out a winner. And I think a lot of players, once they start feeling that pressure, they can't take it, man. Once they're not the starter, once this happens, once that happens, they kind of break, man. And I just want to give props to Brady, man, for vouching for this guy, for winning with this guy, and then showing empathy. Dude, like he's the ultimate leader, man.
Yeah.
And for AB, I wish him the best.
Yeah, man. And from what it seemed like, there was multiple Buccaneers players, trying to kind of console him and get him to calm
Right.
down on the sideline. Mike Evans tried, and from what I've heard, Mike Evans is one of the like nicest guys. And then Mike Evans is kind of just like, hey man, like come, like we're gonna get you your catches. We just got to catch up first, because I don't know. There's kind of conflicting reports of what happened, but
Right.
part of it is that he was getting upset because he seemed like he wasn't gonna get his what is it called?
His bonus or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like his bonuses, his incentives. I'm sorry, his incentives. Yeah, so he had like a touchdown incentive, a yards incentive, and a catch incentive, and he was only 88 yards from the yards incentive, a touchdown from the touchdown incentive, and I believe like 10 catches or 8 catches, something like that.
I think 8 catches away. Yeah.
So and I guess he felt like he wasn't going to get those. Freaked out. They were also losing to the Jets. So it was something like all that just kind of didn't help anything. They told him to go back in the game. He said he wasn't going to go back in. Mike Evans tries to tell him, hey man, like we're going to get you your stuff. Just come out here and let's get this lead, man. Let's get this let's hit this dub. And he was like, no, like y'all are trying, like not trying to let me get my yards and stuff. So Mike Evans was just like, yo, okay, I'm done. And then Tom Brady tried again, and he told him, word. Obviously, this is all conjecture until we hear what actually happened. But it seems like Tom Brady tried. Antonio Brown wasn't having it, and wouldn't go back on the field, and then did what he did. And then after the game, Tom Brady said that basically was still saying like we love him. I hope he gets the help that he needs, because I really do feel like Tom Brady really cared about Antonio Brown to be able to do what he did, because before they got Antonio Brown, Bruce Arians had mentioned they had no room on the team for him, and Tom Brady he played the Tom Brady card to the Buccaneers owner, and was able to get him there. Antonio Brown was supposed to be on a I think like basically like he only has one shot. There's no second chances. And even after he messed up with the fake vaccine card, which we never even talked about, he was still brought back and was actually looking like the top guy after Godwin went down. And then this happens. It's just crazy, man. It's insane. And like I said, I hope he gets the help he deserves. I really hope that other teams don't try to bring him in next year. I think Antonio Brown needs to take a very long break from football and maybe be done with football altogether, because at this rate that he's going, on the football teams, like if he continues this in his life, things aren't going to be good. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard some rumors of like him coming back. Like, dude, I don't. If I was a GM, I don't know if I would take that risk, because like I don't really see the point of like signing this guy for the same thing to happen. And that's no offense to Antonio, but I mean, what else are we supposed to go off of? Like his behavior has been a bit erratic, and whether that's because of health issues or what, we don't know. But strictly speaking, football business, you can't bank on having that guy as a starting wide receiver. You just can't, So yeah, dude, like I wish him the best, and I'm with you. Like I don't exactly see him on an NFL roster anytime soon. I mean, maybe there's a desperate team, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah, man. It sucks, and I really do hope that he gets the help. But I don't know, man. This is weird. It's very odd. So let me see. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say also, like, not that exactly diminishes the Bucs, but like it does take away like another receiver, right?
Yeah.
Going into the playoffs. So like I don't think they're going to be less productive or anything, but I'm just saying, like, Antonio wasn't the best, but he was a weapon on that offense. You know what I mean? So, like, now as a Bucks coach, you have to re-strategize that. And when you're going against, like, some of those elite teams in the NFC, everything can make a difference, man. And Antonio made some big catches last playoffs. Like, that's just the truth, dude. Like, he was part of that run. I wouldn't say he's the reason they won it, but he did make some big plays. So we'll see how that affects them this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, say what you want about it. I think people are looking at the Bucks like something is going on with them. They do seem vulnerable this year. It's funny. The two Super Bowl teams do feel very vulnerable, and this doesn't help. Chris Godwin's injury that was catastrophic. I think Chris Godwin was poised to have a really good postseason. The beauty about the Bucks is that they have Mike Evans, they have Gronk, and then they had Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown, and so it really made it where any receiver could step up at any moment, and Chris Godwin is capable of that. So that does hurt them team wise, but even like front office wise or all that, like this does kind of hurt Brady in the fact that like what does he tell the Bucks after this? Like how does he like talk to them? Hold on.
No, it's cool. I got you. So like I think also these are like I mention all the time, when there's elite teams, you don't really hear much out of them. They're usually very focused, and you can kind of know when a team is primed for a championship. But when there's news and things falling out left and right, you kind of see some kinks in the armor, right? And I think that's what's going on with the Bucks. And like you mentioned with Brady, okay, this guy's old. Yeah, he probably comes back a year, but you don't want to be wasting any time, right? Like you're all hands on deck. Mm-hmm. So, but what do we know about Super Bowl champions? They rarely repeat. They'll be in contentions multiple years, but repeating is almost out of the question. So, it could be just history repeating itself. And a couple weeks back, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, my money would still be on the Bucks over the Packers. I would switch that today. I gotta believe the Packers are the best team now.
Yeah, I think so too. With Tom Brady, man, I think this does kind of hurt his stock with front office with the brass, but excuse me, because he did put kind of like he put his chips on the table and was like, hey, look, I'll make sure that everything's okay. And obviously, he wasn't able to control Antonio Brown because he has to get the help that he needs. But I think that this kind of hurts Brady like next year. Obviously, they'll still ask him his opinion, but it'll get to a point where they're going to be like, Brady's going to be here for maybe another year. I don't believe that he'll play to 45. So, like, they're going to be like, we're going to have to make moves based off of what we think we can do if we can move beyond Brady, because Brady's not going to be there for that long. It's not like they have a young quarterback who's going to be sorry, my son's trying to wave.
Yeah, his pizza.
Like he's not like they have to. It's not like they brought in a young quarterback that's going to be able to take over for Brady. Eventually, they're going to have to move on from him. So I don't know, man. It's weird and it sucks. Brady's never made a mistake like this. That's the biggest thing, is that Brady's never made a mistake like this. Everyone that was ever like quote unquote troubled when they got to Belichick always turned out fine, right?
That's true.
Randy Moss was very much known for like causing issues in locker rooms and all that. He went to He went to Belichick and had one of his best seasons.
Yeah.
And everyone who, including Randy Moss, talks highly of Belichick. So maybe it means that, well, Belichick couldn't handle Antonio Brown either, but maybe this means that most of those people that were able to get guys under control was Belichick, and not necessarily Brady. Because
maybe that was like the piece when you wonder, like, okay, like Brady, he won the title, he's exceptional quarterback, all these things. So what did Belichick do? And that's one of the things, right? This type of stuff never came out of the Patriots camp or locker room. You never saw this type of stuff, right? Like all you saw was them bringing people in and they would succeed like every single time. So like that's your Belichick impact right there, man.
Absolutely, man. So Good luck, Bucks. But let's go ahead and look at the NFL picture, man. The playoffs are right around the corner. I love the NFL playoffs. We have an extra game every week now because of the new 7-team format. So I'm looking forward to this playoff season. Let's go ahead and look at the playoff picture. So we look at the AFC East. 2 teams have clinched playoff berths, which is the Bills and the Patriots. Both clinched playoff berths, but the division is still up for grabs. The Bills have the they have the Jets, and the Patriots have the Dolphins. Both very winnable games for both teams. I don't necessarily see either team having a problem. In order for the Bills to clinch the division, all they got to do is beat the Jets. But if the Bills lose and the Patriots win, the Patriots will clinch the division, which will put them in the top 4. I'm going to say that most likely the Bills are going to win. So that means at least so far. Yeah, at least so far. Yeah. Here, actually, let me see if I can share it.
I shared it right now.
There you go. And then I have like the procedures or the clinching scenarios here if we need to go over them. So clinched playoff spots, we have Titans have clinched the division, the AFC South. Chiefs clinched the NFC, the AFC West last week, and the Bengals clinched the AFC North. Biggest surprise there, I think. I don't know if you watched the highlights from this game, but Bengals Chiefs went toe to toe, and the Bengals held the Chiefs to 3 points in the second half. Really, really great defense, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are top 5 wide receiver duos or wide receiver QB duos, but I might even say top 3 because I might not be able to name 2 others that are elite up there. I'll probably put Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers at 1, and I would probably say that this or Tyreek Hill and Mahomes are 2, but even they've struggled this year. So I might have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow at 2 with Tyreek and Mahomes 3, Stafford Cup at 4, and sheesh, do I have another one? Yeah, that's kind of what I've got right now. Yeah, that's really. Sorry, Diggs and Allen. That one's up there too. So, Bengals, big surprise, taking the AFC North, and because of that, if you want to go down to the remaining AFC ones, we have the Bills and Patriots. As I said, if the Bills win, they'll clinch. If the Bills lose and the Patriots win, they'll have the 4 seed. But if you want to go ahead and scroll down and see who the wild card spots are. All right, so the last 2 wild card spots at the moment are Colts, Chargers, and in order for the Chargers or for the Colts to clinch the playoff berth, they need a win at the Jaguars, which is definitely doable. But they also need the Steelers to lose the Steelers to lose tonight against the Browns, which is the divisional game possibility. They need a Ravens loss next week, and a Chargers loss. So the Colts kind of need everything to go right for them. And then for the if the Chargers want to, LA clinches a playoff spot with a win over Las Vegas. So all they have to do is beat Vegas. But I believe that Vegas could also could knock LA out if they beat the Chargers, because that's who the Raiders play, is the Chargers. So that's a playoff decider right there.
Do you know? Is it possible for the Bengals to get the 2 seed?
Ooh, let me see.
If they win and the Chiefs lose, I would assume, right?
AFC North. It says Bengals can clinch the 1 seed in the AFC. Ooh. In the AFC with either the following: a win plus a Titans, a Chiefs, and a Patriots loss.
And I wouldn't gamble on that.
Yeah, or they win, the Bills win, the Titans lose, and the Chiefs lose. So those are 2 possible choices, and so the Texans play the Titans. Titans play the Texans this week. It's definitely not. They're not the favorites, but we also beat them earlier this year too.
Yeah.
Divisional games are weird. That's why you want to have divisional games as your. That's why divisional games need to be the last week of the season, because I think those are important.
Yeah, if the Texans could win, though, they would. And keep in mind, this is a longer season than normal, right? Usually at this point, it's set for what it is.
This is playoffs already. Without the extra week, this is playoffs.
Yeah, so it's interesting, man. The Texans. My prediction for the Texans was to win 4 games. So if they win one more, they'll have exceeded expectations. Mm-hmm. And that's why you keep low expectations as a Houston sports fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Kansas City can clinch. Will clinch if they win and the Titans lose. I'm really going to be leaning on the Titans winning against the Texans. I love Davis Mills, and I wish we could talk as much as we can about Davis Mills because I've been very, very surprised by him. But I think the Titans they're trying to get into that, unless something happens where they decide not to play their starters. But I doubt that. I think they really do want to get that number 1 seed. That would help. But at the moment, the way that the playoffs are right now, the Titans would have the bye. Obviously, we would see Chiefs and go down a little bit. Sorry. So Chiefs, Chargers, which they split the series this year. Chargers 1-1, then the Chiefs 1-1. Then it would be Bengals, Colts, which would be a fun game, and then Bills, Patriots. That might be the already set in stone one is the Bills, Patriots, which I think is going to be a good game in Buffalo.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and look to the to the NFC, which I think both of us kind of said the Super Bowl champion is probably here. But let's go ahead and look at them. So the Packers at 1, the Rams at 2, the Buccaneers at 3, the Cowboys at 4. I think the Cowboys have already been kind of set at 4. That's kind of where they're going to be.
Yeah.
I think you have the Cardinals, Eagles, and can you get that last team in there? Niners. I think the Niners actually clinched. So let me see. Let's go to the AFC North. So NFC East, they have the 4 seed. The Cowboys have the 4 seed. The Eagles clinched the playoff berth. Sorry, the Eagles did clinch the playoff berth, so the Eagles are going to be there.
Okay.
The Eagles still the number 7 seed. They have the head-to-head tiebreaker with the 49ers.
Okay, so that's why they're above them, and the Niners could get knocked out realistically, though, right? Because Niners are playing the Rams this week.
So it says here, I'll read the whole
Okay.
thing. It kind of says Eagles are still the number 7 seed since the 49ers owned the head-to-head tiebreaker, but clinched a playoff spot before San Francisco because the 49ers win over the Texans guarantee there's not a scenario of the Saints, Eagles, and 49ers having a 3-way tie. The Saints would win the strength of schedule tiebreaker for the number 6 seed, and the 49ers would get the number 7 seed over the Eagles based on their head-to-head. So, that's no longer an option with the 49ers winning. So that means that the clinch seed is the Eagles. Let's see, NFC North. Vikings are eliminated. All of the NFC North besides the Packers are eliminated. For Tampa Bay, the Saints clinch a playoff berth with a win over the Falcons and a 49ers loss to the Rams. So, like you said, the 49ers are not guaranteed a spot there.
Not looking good.
Falcons and Panthers are both eliminated. Then you have Rams clinched the NFC West with a win over the 49ers in Week 18. Oh, yeah, forgot to mention the Packers clinched the number 1 seed. They will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Cardinals will win the NFC West with a win and a Rams loss. So both teams need to lose, but if the Rams win, they clinch the NFC West. The 49ers clinch a playoff spot with a win over the Rams in Week 18 or a loss to the Falcons or a Saints loss to the Falcons. So if the Saints lose to the Falcons, the 49ers will be in. And then the Seahawks are eliminated. So 49ers and Saints are both still in, and we need the NFC West to be decided. That's kind of what's going on in the NFC. But if it started the way this way, we already know the Packers are going to have the number 1 seed. So we would see Rams. It looks like looks like Rams, Eagles, most likely, or 49ers. Rams, 49ers, or Eagles. You have the Buccaneers and Eagles, most likely, and then Cowboys, Cardinals, or Cowboys, Rams, depending on who wins. If the Rams win, they clinch. If they lose and the Cardinals win, then they clinch. But yeah, I kind of have a feeling that the Rams might have a chance of losing. We could see a Rams-Cowboys playoffs, realistically, because
that's kind of what I'm hoping for, actually.
Yeah, the Cardinals have the Seahawks. The Seahawks have nothing else to play for. The 49ers are still competing, and that means that the Rams can't just sit down, sit with their, foot on the brake. The Rams, and that would probably make it a Rams 49ers. That would be a Cardinals 49ers playoffs, which Cardinals are beatable. So I'm gonna say that the 49ers might make it in. I don't think the Saints can get in there. I think the 49ers might win that game.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's what's crazy is I feel like the NFC really could be at any given Sunday because any of these teams could get hot on the right day and win. So that's why it's going to be exciting as hell about this. The good thing for the Packers is you could just sit Brady the next 2 weeks. You don't want him to get too cold, but I mean, to me, it's what they'll end up doing and the logical thing to do. And then, you're bringing in a fresh fresh Aaron Rodgers into the mix against whoever escapes, right? So, yeah, man, I think, the matchups I would want to see would be like a Rams-Cowboys game and Cardinals versus Bucks. I think that would be the best matchups in the NFC for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how it shakes out.
So I think the Rams. Cowboys are guaranteed to play either the Rams or the Cardinals. So Cardinals just beat the Cowboys. So we know that's possible in Jerry World. And Kyler has never lost a game in Texas. So, which is insane. So I don't think the Cowboys necessarily want to see the Cardinals, and Matthew Stafford only has 3 games in the playoffs and has lost all 3. So I think the Cowboys are definitely hoping that the Rams lose and the Cardinals win because I think they would rather play the Rams than the Cardinals. The Eagles, I think just to see Jalen Hurts against the Buccaneers against Tom Brady would be fun, but I would probably put the Buccaneers on that game. Yeah. And then probably Cardinals and 49ers. That would be, divisional games in the playoffs can be fun, but sometimes they can be blowouts because you've seen the team 3 times.
Yeah.
Or 2 times already. So, especially if, it wasn't even, the games weren't even close, but, I love when there's a lot of teams, kind of fates that are being, that could be decided in the last week of the NFL. It's always fun to see that. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the playoffs. Excited to see who's going to be the Super Bowl champions. Like you said, I can really see the only team I don't see as a legit contender right now is probably Philly and San Fran. But everybody else, I think I can see winning the title, winning the Super Bowl. Everyone on the AFC has, I think that that one is going to be based off matchups or, like you said, any given Sunday.
Yeah.
All 7 of those teams have a chance to beat the other team. No one seems unbeatable, whereas it's kind of the Packers to lose, probably. But we've seen Aaron Rodgers struggle against some guys.
Right. The way I'm seeing, anything can happen. But the way I kind of see it right now is Packers will at least be in the NFC Championship, but who are they going to play, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. If it's the Bucks again, I think if the Bucks survive all this and they're in the championship again, man, they might just make it to the Super Bowl. But I'm kind of looking at Arizona as a dark horse. Cowboys have played pretty bad. They're just very when they're down, they're down. So I don't expect the Cowboys to make it out of the playoffs against elite teams. The Rams, I want to believe in McVay. Stafford, man.
Yeah, that's the big question mark.
So that's why like the Cardinals and Bucks are kind of more who I'm leaning towards in the championship against the Packers.
Yeah, and the beauty about the NFL playoff schedule is it's not set in stone who you're playing, like the NBA or MLB playoffs are. It's all based off of lower seed plays high seed, so it's going to be moving around. So like the Packers, they might be hoping for all the wild card teams to lose, so they can play the Cowboys because they played the Cowboys in the playoffs before and beat them. The Chiefs. Or the Titans, you might not want the Colts to play to make it where they end up playing you because you've played them twice already, and I believe the Colts destroyed the Titans last time. So man, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited for this playoff season, but that is all for tonight. It has been fun to talk sports with you, my man. Can't wait to get into next week. I would just say kudos to you for getting the college football playoffs basically correct. It was exactly what you predicted it was going to be, and I am looking forward to not watching that game because I don't care about that game at all.
Yeah, same, bro. Like, I'm not. The only way I'll tune into that game is if it's like tight in the fourth quarter. But I'm not gonna waste my time, bro. And I don't blame the average fan for not wanting to waste their time either. Like, It's the committee's, like, the committee should have put them against each other. Like, if Bama wins, like, this is all a waste of time. Like, that's
it really is, man.
You
So I was watching the Cincinnati Alabama game, and I was so frustrated in that game because it was just like, dude, Ritter had so many like opportunities, but he just couldn't get the ball off. Like they just couldn't stop him, and I was just like, are we going to come up with a way to make it so Alabama doesn't get every single 5-star recruit that comes out of high school? Like, it's getting kind of ridiculous. I don't know. I don't want to take away, like, I don't want to rig the game against Alabama, but you can't tell me that this college football playoffs was fun to watch.
Well, no, you're right. Like, I think the game is a little too easy for Saban, to be honest. Like, I think he's just at that point where no one's really challenging him. Like, he might. He might lose a game every now and then, but he you look at his record, he's dominant. The guy has like 6 or 7 championships. I forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's unheard of, man. So
and I think we thought that Dabo was going to be that guy that was going to be able to compete with Saban every year, right? With Clemson, but they had one of the most disappointing seasons this year. Yeah. So it's like we're back to square one where everyone sucks and Saban is king.
Yeah, man. And I think they're gonna win it personally. Since the NIL opened up, like Texas A&M and Texas both have top 5 recruiting classes, and there's a lot of rumblings about they're the richest program, so they're just paying everyone now, and they're gonna get some recruits. So when we'll see that, it'll be years down the line, right? But
we forgot to mention when it happened because I think we were taking a little hiatus, but Jackson State was able to steal the number 1 recruit out of high school, right, from Florida State. They were able to get him to turn right on signing day. I want to see. This is what's his name's prime time, right? Yeah, man. I mean, Jackson State.
Yeah, man. They snagged him. A lot of people are saying Barstool offered him millions of dollars because apparently they follow Deion Sanders and they cover Jackson State. So
I think we're gonna see very soon some rules put in, at least against boosters. I think there's gonna be a lot of rules and kind of restrictions put on boosters. When it comes to this, because it is kind of getting out of hand. I think my brother talked about it with the UT was the offensive lineman that you told me, the defense.
Yeah, they're getting $50,000. It doesn't even matter if you're a starter; you're just $50,000.
Like he was mentioning. I was gonna say he was mentioning like how it's a good thing for the players, but that it's kind of dangerous for college football. And I think with what you're saying about Jackson State, that's a very high profile thing that just happened. Like no one, that's never happened ever in recruiting where a guy flipped from a top tier team like Florida State and flipped to a HBU, which is I love that Jackson State's getting the love, but
right, absolutely,
this is the kind of like thing that gets other teams' eyes. Like you can't tell me that Florida State's the head of Florida State was like, what, like this can't be allowed. Like what's going on? Like they're going to become the Karens, like asking to talk to the manager. Like you're going to let him take our guy away?
Bro, absolutely. I mean, I think, there's always been some form of payment at these schools, but I think it's just more and more obvious that players are flat out getting paid, dude. And, like props to A&M, they're UT's rival, but they're number one, and they probably are flat out paying them. I wouldn't blame them for doing it. The rules are wide open right now. So, the good thing is, maybe the deck gets shuffled. Maybe some of these newer, younger, non-historic programs can come out and they can win. But I also think from the top, the solution is like expanding the playoff, at least making it exciting, dude. Like there's no reason why we should have 4 only. It needs to at least be 8. Even the game, it was okay. So Oregon played Oklahoma. I know we got to get out of here. I'll keep it quick.
Yeah,
Oregon played Oklahoma, and then we also had I'm forgetting the Rose Bowl. It was Utah versus Ohio State.
Yeah,
bro, both of those games were amazing, and those were the teams that would have filled out an 18 bracket.
Yes.
So that's kind of why I'm like, dude, I get the college football committee. Yes, those probably were the 4 best teams, but sometimes I think you got to think what's the sexiest matchup too, man. Cincy and Bama, that was so lopsided, bro. It was completely wrong. Michigan barely put up 6 points on Georgia. You should have had Cincy against Michigan. Even if they're both frauds, let them lose in the championship, but have an epic semifinal before you get there, So I think that's what's missing from, we get it. They're handpicked. So handpick them and put them in the right place, at least. That's all I ask for.
So this is what I think the problem is. I think the committee is filled with a bunch of like old football heads that were like, who wouldn't want to see Bama versus Georgia in the championship game? It's like, it's the history. It's all this and that. It's tradition. These two teams, like these two schools hate each other type of thing. But it's like, we don't, with the fact that there's so many, beautiful. Right when we're about to get off. If you look at the comments, ridiculous.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Nice. Anyways, it's not when the amount of schools that play football is as large as it is, and you don't get to see every team play against each other. Like you have to make executive decisions with this. Like, do we really want to see Bama versus Georgia again, or do we want to see? Or do we want to see like games like you said, Ohio State and Utah? I watched as far back as Iowa and Kentucky. Like that was a fantastic game. Like that went down to the very last play. Like, and that was number 10 versus number 22. Like there's so many matchups and things you can do. Like how are you not? If you're in the committee, how are you not like a kid in a candy store, where you're just like, I can see.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever I want to see, and you're like, it's like you walk into like a fancy candy store that has every single candy you could ever dream of in your head, but you left with a freaking Reese's. Like it's nice, it tastes good, but like I've had it a million times. That's like going to France and eating at McDonald's.
Bro, exactly. You have to expand it, and you have to have better matchups. You're already handpicking it, so put it the way you want. Like even like A&M definitely did not deserve to be in a playoff at all. But I'm using this more of it as like a example, and to try and take away my bias as a Longhorns fan. If A&M's the only team that beat Bama this year, then why not toss them in some type of, assuming they have the record? Why not put them in the playoff? Why not put Ohio State, who has an explosive offense? Why not put, you know what I'm saying? Why not put OU? Why not put some of these other teams? Because there's all this drama around these programs, and it's more of like a wild card matchup. if Alabama's going to win at the end of the day, they're going to win. But there's no reason why we can't like enjoy something fun to watch before we get to that point. You know what I mean? That's my thing. So
absolutely. Now, we talked about what we talked about what the possible playoff matchups would have been, so we're not going to go into that. But I think that there was a very loud cry for a change to the college football playoffs after both Bama and Georgia won. That I really hope that this gets taken into consideration next year.
Yeah,
I just can't. Think of how much money you're losing. Like you're leaving on the table. I didn't watch any bowl games because to me, bowls don't matter anymore. And I think that the NCAA is kind of stuck in their tradition of like when bowl games mattered. People don't care about bowl games no more, man. Like they don't. Unless you go to the school, like you don't care about a bowl game. Like I don't care about the Cotton Bowl or which is basically the I think it's the semifinal.
Like every other year it's the semifinal or rotates out or something.
Yeah, or like just get rid of bowls, make it where was it Utah that beat Ohio State, correct? Or was it Ohio State? Ohio State beat Utah.
But it was an amazing game.
So that could be your Rose Bowl, your final Rose Bowl winner. Like, yeah, now you have Ohio State as your final Rose Bowl champion forever. Now just get rid of bowl games, have a playoff format. A lot of those teams, like Cincinnati, just want a chance, man. They just want a chance to be able to play in those games because when you disregard a team because they're not a Power 5 conference, like it's kind of shitty. Like when you have to have Nick Saban, who I believe wholeheartedly, I think he believes completely what he said, that Cincinnati deserved to be there because these smaller schools or schools that aren't in Power 5 conferences, I think they deserve a little bit more love, man. Like the men's basketball NCAA is willing to do it. Why can't the football division do it? Because who doesn't love March Madness? Like, come on. Everyone loves March Madness. Bro. Get to fill out a bracket, watch teams that you don't normally watch play. Like, what was it, Oral Roberts last year, which is cool. Yeah. Like that, man. Give more teams that opportunity. But
completely agree, bro. So
we'll probably be having
some changes. Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit had the dumbest take of the week, saying that the game doesn't mean as much to these college athletes. Like they don't want to play. I'm like, bro, the bowls are meaningless. That's all it really is. It's not that
they don't matter.
Play.
And you saw
play and get injured, and
you just saw Matt Corral get injured. We're lucky that his X-rays came back negative, but we could have lost somebody for playing for a game that doesn't matter. Exactly. Matt Corral, who's going to be one of the top quarterbacks taken this year.
Exactly.
So
for a pointless bowl.
Yeah, you can't look at that and be like, bowl game matters. Like, if you make that a playoff game, then yes. Like, especially in the first ever like college football expanded playoffs. I still remember when they announced the college football playoffs, and there was like 4 teams. I was like, that doesn't matter. Like, that's not enough.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like, why 4? You have how many teams in the NCAA? Like make that bigger. That's ridiculous. Like the college basketball tournament is 64 teams. I'm not saying it's got to be 64, but like a 12 team playoff would just be like really refreshing.
Yeah.
But we'll probably be talking about. We'll probably be having this exact same conversation next year.
A year from now.
Yeah, when it's like Nick Saban, the freaking Roll Tide playing LSU.
yeah, it's gonna be like either LSU, Ohio State, or Georgia.
Yeah, it's I'm tired of it, man. I was cheering for freaking Cincy and Michigan so badly, just to see something different, man. Or even Cincy and Georgia. I really wanted Cincy to win.
Same, bro. Same. It was wrong how they did Cincy, bro. They did it on purpose, man. They were like, all right, you want your shot? Here's Bama.
Yeah, here's Bama.
Yeah.
Like what world?
They were wrong for that, bro.
And like they try
someone into.
I like going the
like amateur with Mike Tyson. Like
it's like putting freaking what is it, Glass Joe against Mike Tyson, freaking Tyson's punch out. Like, come on. What is it? I'm trying to think. they tried to like make it seem like, oh, they're missing their top corner, Alabama. They're missing their top corner. Oh, they're missing one 5-star recruit, but they have like 3 others. Like, come on.
Yeah.
When a player is injured on Alabama, it just means we're getting a little extra, like a sneak peek at next year.
Yeah, the next player might actually be better than that guy.
Yeah, like Bryce Young. Look at Bryce Young. We were like, man, Mac Jones, he's so good. If he misses a game, what is Alabama going to do? They're going to put in Bryce Young.
He's even better.
Yeah. Anyways, man. But yeah, Bryce Young is elite. Hopefully the Texans have the worst pick next year and we can draft Bryce Young. That'd be nice. But let's go ahead and get out of here, man. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. I'm not tweeting as much now, but my phone should be fixed in the next week. And you will see me talking about everything but college football next Monday.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
So they can find you.
Yeah, catch me on Twitter as well, @Podcast Paul. Really need to get them follows up, so I appreciate it, and you definitely get a follow back. Thanks for watching the show. Even if you're watching it later, we appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And hey, if you have a friend or a family member who is a Rockets fan or a sports fan just in general, shoot them this podcast, share the podcast around. We really appreciate it. Hit that like button. And let's make 2022 the year of the red glare. So let's go ahead and go, man. So from Paul, from me, peace out, guys.